I went out and I felt absolutely awful. So I went to Leeds and everything, everybody's dead happy. I remember I cut the night short at about 10 o'clock. I wasn't drunk or anything and just thought, I just want to go home. And on the process of going home from Leeds back to Halifax, I dropped in McDonald's and I spent £30 on myself. And I sat in the back of the taxi and binged on a £30 order at McDonald's and I ate the lot. And I went home and I thought, wow, I've just done that. Literally, that's what it didn't even make me feel better though. That's the thing. It didn't make me feel better. I've spent £30 on myself. Like, I think I got like 2 quarter-pounder meals, 20 nuggets, a large milkshake, a large coke, and I just thought, just sat and ate everything, even double cheeseburgers. And imagine, I think I was 26 at the time. And I thought, this can't be it. You know, just food, relying on food to make me feel happy.
Support for Slimming Stories is brought to you by Nicole Rivera's Stop Writing Alone podcast and writing community. Are you ready to stop writing alone but you don't know where to begin? At stopwritingalone.com, find the latest podcast episodes and writing prompt videos, or sign up for the email list to get those with live events and advice right to your inbox. If you're just feeling stuck on your first page and need a helping hand, feel free to DM Nicole on Instagram at stopwritingalone. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Slimming Stories. I'm your host, Sheldon West. I hope all is well where you are. I hope you've been able to enjoy some of the nice weather that we've had and you're feeling more in line with normality, I guess. I'm due to start work back on Monday. I know lots of people are now back in to a normal routine, I guess, and it's not quite normal, is it? But I guess we're all getting there. We're all making the effort to try and keep as safe as we can and do the right thing. This week's guest, Shannon Palmer, is such a bright light, such an inspiration. And I think she's had quite a difficult slimming journey in relation to bullying that she received. So throughout primary school and secondary school, Shannon was bullied around her weight, eating habits and about her hair, which sounds just ridiculous. But throughout primary and secondary school, Shannon was bullied. And this had a very big impact on Shannon in terms of her self-worth and her confidence. And it's something that she really, really struggled with. And there were times that she just wanted to feel attractive and she resorted to drastic measures to lose weight and also diet pills. Now, if your trigger is bullying, and this may not be the episode for you, that's just a trigger warning. But I do feel that after listening to the recording of Shannon, I know that this story will speak to many people. And if you feel that you truly can't shift the weight, if you feel that the circumstances that you find yourself in are just too challenging, then just take a listen to Shannon's story. And I'm sure this will truly motivate you. So here's introducing Shannon to Slimming Stories. How are you, Shannon?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm really well. I know you've done a really long day's shift, so I just want to start by telling our listeners what you've been up to today and what your day job is, because I'm sure they'll all be interested to know that you're one of the stars that's helping the country keep afloat at the moment.
Well, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, had some breakfast, got a shower, got ready, and I walked to work. Started a 12-hour shift at 8 o'clock and I finished at 8 o'clock this evening. So I've literally got in from work, had a shower and literally come on Zoom to chat to you. I'm a bit knackered, so if I swear I do anything wrong, don't shout at me, I apologise.
You're absolutely fine. And you work with dementia patients, don't you, which is fantastic.
Yeah. For the last 3 years I've worked as a dementia carer. So obviously I'm fully trained now and everything else. So I really like my job. It's dead rewarding, but at this moment in time, obviously, it's a lot harder than it usually is. Not that it's not hard anyway, because obviously it's physical and mental. But just at this moment in time, it's putting everything into it, everything like over your family and everything else. So I guess it's just, a bit not tiring. You can't say that because I love my job and I got to work to look after them people, but it's just tiring. I'm going to say tiring. I can't think of any other words.
Imagine that emotionally it must be quite a drain, because you're not just the carer, you're now like the family member too, aren't you? Because
the family, they cry to me, they tell me this, they tell me the stories. They look at me like the family, basically, because obviously I am the family, really, aren't I? I do everything for them. Whether it's emotional support, looking after them, giving them the meals, everything else. They're just like family, so it's just normal, really.
And I'm so pleased that somebody like yourself that's so warm and genuine is doing that job, and it's such a hard job to do anyway. And especially in the with COVID-19, and it's just just want to say thank you for doing the job that you do. It is an amazing job. My dad's got dementia. I've lost my auntie to COVID in a care home this year as well, and it's a difficult time for you to be in the thick of it. And I'm quite fortunate. I'm on furlough and I've not got the pressures that you've got. So, and I'm sure listeners as well been listening to this podcast thinking, this Shannon is fantastic. Before we even started,
you'll make me cry. Thank you. I've got like 50 nan and granddads. I love it. You've always got someone to have a gossip to.
Oh, that's nice then. So let's get started then, Shannon. So I've got lots of questions to ask you. I understand that you've had a great success, haven't you, with Slimming World? So if you just want to start by telling our listeners how much weight you've lost.
5 stone 3 pounds at the moment. I initially set 2 targets. I got to my first target exactly a year to date of starting Slimming World, and I think that was 4 stone 3 pounds. But I thought, come on, Shannon, you can do better than this. Set a second target, which I wanted to get to for my 27th birthday in March, and I got to it 2 weeks before. So I got to 5 stone. So now I'm just dwindling on 5 stone 3 pounds, which I never thought I'd lose. I don't think I've ever been this small in my whole entire 20s, or probably my teenage years. So it's a bit of a Brucey bonus, really, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. And that's such a fantastic amount of weight to lose. Yeah. And I know today it's been really, really hot, really, really humid. And I know at one point you was a size 24, wasn't you? I was summer for you in a size 24
it was awful. I never really thought about it, to be fair. But I've always looked at my friends, like my really skinny, beautiful friend, and I thought, I'd love to know what that felt like. I remember going to nightclubs and stuff when I was younger, like say your teenage years, and all your friends were getting this lad attention. I remember one night I was talking to this right good looking lad, but I think he just felt sorry for me. And then obviously my best friend came over and she's stunning, and she just like, nah, go away, and then talking to your friend. So I've never really had that approach. Boys have never approached me like that. And I've always kind of been, can you say that, the fat funny friend? Like everyone's always kind of laughed with me or maybe at me, but I've never thought of it like that. But I've always kind of set myself up for, not failure, but I just thought, this once I want to do something for myself. And I think the biggest thing for me was about 2 years it'll be now, I went abroad to Salou, and I just remember I just sat there in black and just loads of horrible clothes, and just thought, come on man, why can't I feel like them girls in them bikinis? I've never felt like that in my life. Or my sister, I think she's a size 8 cheerleader. I've never felt like that in my life. I just thought, once I want to feel how they feel.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I remember obviously buying size 24 jeans, and I think they lasted a week, with rubbing in between and chafing in your legs. I couldn't even walk. I was out of breath, sweating constantly. But obviously to make myself feel better, I just used to eat and eat and eat. Obviously it made you feel better for a while, but then you thought, bloody hell, Shannon, man, you're cracking scales up to 17 stone here.
Yeah.
Obviously you eat to fill that void, don't you, of not feeling part of the beautiful clique.
And is that exactly how you felt? Did you just feel in your teenage years that you didn't feel beautiful and part of anything?
Even at primary school, I always felt like the outsider. I mean, I never looked like the outsider probably, because it's I used to have friends, but they probably used to laugh at me rather than with me. But I used to kind of just shrug that off because I thought, oh, well, they're laughing at me, I've got friends. Do you get what I mean when I say that? I remember I really got into rounders one year, and I really wanted, I think it was year 6, and I thought I really want to be on rounders team. I used to stay behind every Tuesday night, and I thought, oh yes, I might be a bit slower than the rest, but obviously I still turn up. And I remember I was gutted because I didn't get chose to be on that rounders team. I think I was the only girl who got left out, and I used to get called Bruce Bogtrotter. And I just think now, looking back, why did teachers never stick up for me? I know it was maybe how long ago now, 20 years ago, but even still. You think now, why couldn't I be part of that?
Yeah.
But like I said, at school I got bullied. I got called Bruce Bogtrotter, the little fat kid out of Matilda. Sorry? The little kid in Matilda who eats all the cake. That's what I get called at primary school, and obviously went up to secondary school with me as well. So I've always kind of been bullied, but not really associated it with bullying, because you think they're your friends, but in later life you think they weren't actually my friends, bother.
Right, so these people were presenting as friends, and joke, but
I don't really speak to them anymore. Do you know what I mean? But obviously I've got one good friend, Kate. She stuck me through thick and thin. She's always said, come on, Shannon, you're better than this. She just like me though, Kate, to be fair, down to earth. But these people now, I don't even know them. Do you know what I mean? They had you on Facebook, and you think, well, I'm going to be a friend when you did that to me, because it still does stick with you mentally. It's still there now. You know, I think to myself now, bloody Bruce Bogtrotter, you're just like, it's awful. I'm not embarrassed, because obviously it makes you who you are, doesn't it? But I've never felt part of that. I've never felt like one of them girls. Do you get what I mean?
I think within school there's like a bit of a hierarchy and a ranking, isn't there? And it's difficult.
I think I put a post on Instagram the other day about never wearing my hair down, because I got bullied at school for having naturally curly frizzy hair.
Right.
I might get bullied by, what's their names, obviously, but I used to get really bullied by these girls. I've been bigger and obviously having frizzy hair. But now it's like these girls who bullied you at school, they're quick enough to like follow you on Facebook, or, you know, like add you on Instagram, and I think to myself, well, I'm not following you back, love. You know what I mean? But you look now and you just think, I was saying to somebody the other day, where are them people now? Like, I've got a job, I've got a loving family, I've got a home, but then people kind of like, well, where are they now? Where are they in that hierarchy now? I never got invited to cinemas, and then, well, they were all like going out with boys and stuff. I never did that. I never got invited. So even now, to these days, I always look for validation, and, you know, like, what does that look like? Ooh, that person likes me. Do you know, that kind of thing? But I think I'm coming to terms with it now. I'm like getting more confident at stuff like that. But I think being a child and like going through, like, it does stick with you, doesn't it? Like mentally, it is still there.
Can you look back at your younger self and remember a time that you actually felt comfortable in your skin, or is it this bullying kind of started from very, very early on?
Well, obviously, I've told this story in papers and everything else. Obviously, my aunties lived next door to my mum and dad. My mum used to make really healthy teas, and then I'd go around to my Auntie Jane and Auntie Gail's house next door, and kind of obviously they didn't want to be cruel, so they were like, oh, just have it, you know, just have it. And it makes you feel better, doesn't it? And I remember, I think it was my cousin Joseph's christening one year, and my mum took me shopping. I think it was Tammy Girl in town, and everybody's, you know, I think it was, you know, the little rah-rah skirts, you know, the little denim ones. Yeah. And I really wanted one of them and some like little high heels. And I remember going in and was like, what fit you, Shannon? So she had to take me to the shop next door. I think it was Bon March, actually. She had to get me a size, I think it was a 16 skirt. I mean, your mum's not going to turn around and say to you, look, Shannon, you need to lose weight. And then my daughter, she wanted me to be happy. Yeah. So I remember my cousin's christening, I think. Yeah, christening. And I would have stood there in like size 16. I think we were like 12-year-old. It was awful.
Right. It is. And I can remember going to those shops that you're supposed to have your size skirt for your age, aren't you? I think my first skirt at secondary school was a size 12. Yeah. So that was difficult because, you know, like I say, you couldn't get into the sizes that you wanted for your actual age. So from what you're saying there with Tammy Girl, I remember that quite vividly. Tammy Girl.
No, just now we're talking about skirts. I remember I were at primary school because I used to walk to school with a teacher, obviously a family friend as well. And I remember I used to wear, like, you know, the little grey skirts for school. I think I was still in year 6, so I remember when it was really hot, like my legs used to chafe together. Obviously, you don't really think, do you? You know what I mean? My mum took me to the doctors and she's like, have you seen these red marks in between Shannon's legs? Obviously not thinking, because obviously you don't want to think about your daughter like that, do you? And the doctor's like, there's nothing wrong with her. It's the fact that her legs are that big, her legs are chafing together and rubbing. So I remember I got sent home with, I think, some cream to put on it, and I just thought, wow. But obviously you don't think of it like that when you're that age, do you?
Was your mum aware of the bullying? Did she know what life was like for you at school?
She did, but she's very protective, my mum, so I didn't kind of tell her all of it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to, I felt like a failure, like getting bullied, do you know what I mean? So I kind of, like I said, I shrugged it off, but then I'd go home and I'd eat.
Right.
So it's like, I think in the end she did find out about it, and she'd obviously go to school and obviously try and sort it out, but you feel a bit embarrassed, don't you, when your mum's going to school? You don't really want to admit that you're getting bullied, do you? I went up to secondary school and nothing really changed there. I was never part of that clique. I was never in there with that clique. I was still kind of an outsider. I had friends, obviously, but not in the top clique. I was never that pretty girl. Never had a boyfriend. And still the name went with me, Bruce Bogtrotter. So one of the bullies at primary school went to secondary school.
Oh, God.
All year 7 people were like, oh, Bruce Bogtrotter. Do you know what I mean? But I was never really aware of my hair, you know, like my frizzy hair, like I said, and my weight. So they still did call me Bruce Bogtrotter. So I think I went right up. Never had never had a boyfriend, never got invited to sleepovers, never got invited out, never got invited to rugby matches to watch all the boys play. So then I think it got to year 11 at prom, and I thought, for once I want to feel absolutely stunning. Yeah. So I think I was about 16 stone at the time, and I think I dieted, but I did it the wrong way. I think I ate like an apple and a sandwich in a day. and I used to like constantly walk everywhere. And I used to hide myself not eating from my parents. So I think on my prom night I was in a size 10 dress, but I didn't feel like myself. So how old would I have been then? I think it'll have been 17. So yeah, I got into the prom dress and I went to the prom, but still had no confidence. I didn't really know better about myself. Obviously then you got to college. Still, I want part of a clique there, I want part of the pretty girls.
You know, you've spoken about your time at school and the bullying, and always wanted to be that pretty girl, but I'm looking at your face on Zoom. You know, you've got these
no makeup.
But you've got these beautiful eyes, and you've got a fresh face, and I'm thinking, I hear what you said about your time at school. Has there been a transition in how you felt about yourself from now that you've lost this weight?
Massively. I think upon leaving college, obviously you get a job, don't you? Like I said, up to press, I've never had a boyfriend before I've met Richard. And I started work at a factory. I worked in a warehouse packing fruit and veg. I don't know how I ended up there, but obviously it's a job, in it pays a wage. And we're only, I think we're about 21, just after my 21st. So you still live at home and you think, oh, it's a job, and it'll pay board for my mum and dad and get me a few new outfits. And I remember I started losing weight then. I think I just got really fed up. I really fancied this lad, and I think he didn't fancy me. Obviously, me and Maya thinking, is it because I'm big? Do you know what I mean? So I thought, I'll lose a bit of weight. He might like me then. But looking back now, I think, well, why should it be like that? And anyway, in the meantime, through losing weight, I met Richard at work. And like, no lads ever paid me attention before. But me and Richard fell in love, and I carried on losing weight. I felt fantastic at a point, wearing these outfits. I think it was my 22nd birthday. I wore this little leather skirt, and I felt absolutely fantastic. I just felt, wow, I feel like one of girls now. So I think that one point I felt cracking.
So after meeting Richard, what happened? Yeah. What happened for you to feel this self-acceptance? Did he help with that? Did he help with your confidence?
He did, yeah, because he was constantly calling me beautiful. So like I said, I've lost weight prior to this. You feel absolutely fantastic. Oh, someone finally likes me. Someone finally loves me. Finally, someone's paying me all these compliments that I've never had before. So it's kind of new. But I was really happy, relishing the fact that I've lost this weight. Can I just say that I didn't really take diet tablets religiously, but I dabbled a bit with them. Nobody knew about it. It was completely, private. My mum and dad didn't know. Richard didn't know. Because then I lost all this weight through the diet tablets, but nobody knew. Right. I was happy, so I decided to stop taking the diet tablets. But the weight kind of started creeping back on. One takeaway a week led to another takeaway, to another takeaway, to another takeaway. Do you know what I'm saying? So obviously you're happy, you're in a relationship, and you think, oh, he's calling me beautiful. So you get is it content, that word? I can't remember what they're called now. I think I'm a Amazon, a quick fix. Yeah. Not all from the diet tablets. I wasn't really starving myself, but I think I was eating like a salad and an apple a day. And drinking water, nothing more.
So coming off the diet tablets and knowing that your weight was going on, at what point did you feel that you could tackle your weight problem? What happened next?
I started taking the diet tablets, and obviously the weight kept off for a while, but like I said, you get content and happy, don't you? So Richard, he's not big Richard, and he can eat everything that he wants. So it's kind of like, well, Richard's eating it, so I'll have it. You know what I mean? Right. So it kind of like started going on again. But I think you feel happy and content in yourself, so it's like, a bit of pizza, I'm a massive fan of fizzy pop. So I think on average, I used to drink 10 to 12 cans of fizzy pop a day, full fat fizzy pop. Like, it's just like, you need it, don't you?
Day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely love Iron Brew. Oh. Iron Brew.
I could not physically drink 12 cans of anything.
Oh, it's up there for me. Iron Brew is everything.
Right.
But like I said, it's never massive. Like, I remember my dad saying to me when we were younger, my mum never really let us off fizzy pop. And I think it's kind of the fact, when your mum says no, and you kind of move out, don't you, thinking, I can get fizzy pop now because my mum's not there. So kind of now it's a bit like rebellious, so I can get fizzy pop.
So I understand, having read an article that you appeared in recently, that you suffered quite a traumatic time at your mother's property. So just want to talk us through what happened and how that made you feel.
I remember it was one Saturday morning. I was doing a shift at work when I worked at obviously the warehouse. I was starting my break with Richard, and I got a phone call from a neighbour, and I thought, how she got my number? And obviously she's on the phone. She's like, Shannon, you need to come home. Your house is on fire. I'm like, you what? So obviously I've come off at the phone thinking she's lying. I've tried ringing my mum, couldn't get through. Got through to my Auntie Gail next door, and she's like, Shannon, no one's lying. You need to come home. Obviously I remember getting home from work, and my mum was sat on the doorstep with the fire, the fire people in the ambulance. And basically turned around and said, we've lost everything. And your mum was 4 minutes away from dying because she was sat on oxygen and everything else. She tried saving dog before herself. She managed to get dog out and then nearly died in process. So I just remember, wow, what more? I remember going in the house after it had happened, and like literally everything we've ever owned, everything burned. We had nothing left. It was absolutely awful. It's like, wow, everything I've ever worked for, everything I've ever got, I've got nothing left. No clothes, nothing. I had to go and stay with Richard's mum and dad. Mum and dad went and moved in with my aunties next door, and I had to move in with Richard and his mum and dad, which were really lovely of them. They didn't have to do that. In the meantime, the day after, I got a phone call from the place where I was working saying they were making me redundant. There were no job left for me, so they were making me redundant as well. So then I remember sitting down one night and just crying, saying, well, what next? What more can get thrown at me? So I think initially I just turned to food, but I think I did it a lot in private to hide away my feelings, because I think my family were going through a lot, so that I didn't really want them to have the burden of knowing that I were upset when my mum and dad have lost everything. So I kind of hid them feelings away, even from Richard. I just thought, I don't want to put that burden on anybody else of how I'm feeling. So I just turned to food. I remember obviously moving to Richard's mum and dad's house. It was quite, I don't know, I could hide eating the food. You know what I mean? I remember one night Richard had gone away fishing. I think I went to Tesco's down the road, and obviously I went back up to his bedroom, and I had, the 4 packs of muffins.
Yeah.
What you can get from Tesco's, and I sat and ate that myself. And I got a takeaway pizza, ate that, the full thing myself. And I got the big pack of Doritos, the cheesy ones, the big pack. I ate that myself as well. And I think I ate some Ben and Jerry's as well. And I just thought, I'm still not full. Nothing's filling that void, whereas food normally would, but nothing was.
No.
So then I just carried on eating and eating and eating. And then I remember I got a new job as well as a carer, going back 3 years. And I remember I used to start work in the morning, but I had my breakfast before, so like a bacon sandwich. I'd get to work and have another bacon and sausage sandwich. Then I'd have a pasta with gravy for dinner. Then I'd have my own dinner, which were a sandwich I bought from Tesco's over the road. Then I'd have snacks in between, making just feel better, like the 12 cans of fizzy pop that I used to get through a shift. That's what got me through a shift. And I just thought, the more I keep eating, they don't make me feel better, but it's kind of maybe filling that void. Like being away from family and everything else, and everything what had happened.
Yeah.
You don't kind of really want to admit defeat. But before I knew it, I slowly got up to, I think I was 17 stone, but I didn't want to admit that I got there again. No clothes fit me. Like I said, all my jeans in middle were all just, I didn't have no middle between the legs because they've all chafed away. It was awful, and no clothes fit me. I think I had one pair of jeans what fit me, what didn't break away. And then I just thought, it just makes you feel better, doesn't it, eating sometimes, which that is a lot of people's go-to thing. Like I said to my friends, a lot of people have drugs, a lot of people have, smoking, drinking problems, but mine's food. It's always been food. Food is the protagonist of my problems.
Sometimes when you've been on like a healthy eating plan for a long time, and you have food and maybe have a binge, you can kind of get that almost like adrenaline rush of it, can't you? You can, it can really like satisfy you. But I think from what you've just explained, where you'd have the pizza and then you'd have the Doritos and you'd have the pops and things. At that point, sometimes I feel that when I've been in that mode and I've been through like a binge, nothing that I eat satisfies me, because at the end of the day, what you're actually doing is you're not feeding an hunger, are you? You're trying to feed an emotional. You're trying to feed it, and nothing can, food, no matter how much food you put in your mouth, no amount of food is going to make you feel full of that void.
I remember I went on my one of my good friend Naomi's daughter's 18th birthday, and I got this dress. It was like I must have been about size 24, because it was a size 24 dress I got. It was like an off-the-shoulder number, but I never dare get my legs out anyway, so it would just pass my knee. There's a picture there, actually. You'll see it on Instagram, this picture here.
Yeah.
I think I got in a size 24 and it didn't fit me, so I had to get to size 26. I went out and I felt absolutely awful. So I went to Leeds and everything. Everybody's dead happy. I remember I cut the night short at about 10 o'clock. I wasn't drunk or anything and just thought, I just want to go home. And on the process of going home from Leeds back to Halifax, I dropped in McDonald's and I spent £30 on myself. And I sat in the back of the taxi and binged on a £30 order at McDonald's and I ate the lot. And I went home and I thought, wow, I've just done that. Literally, that's what, it didn't even make me feel better though, that's the thing. It didn't make me feel better. I've spent £30 on myself. Like, I think I got like 2 quarter-pounder meals, 20 nuggets, a large milkshake, a large Coke, and I just sat and ate everything, even double cheeseburgers.
Wow.
And imagine, I think I was 26 at the time, and I thought, this can't be it. You know, just food, relying on food to make me feel happy. But it didn't.
So was that for you, the trip to McDonald's, was that your breaking point? Was that the point where you thought, right, okay, I'm going to make a change and I'm going to take some action with that?
I don't think it was, no. A couple of days later, I flew out to Salou with my family, you know, like a family holiday after the fire. I went with my mum, my dad and my sister Kelsey. And like I said, going back to the beginning, I always wanted to feel like how them girls must feel. I remember sat there in this horrible costume from maybe Bon March, where it'd fit me. And I thought, why don't I look like them girls in them bikinis? Why can't I feel like that? So I sat there that day and, you know, eating everything I could get my hands on from, you know, the pool bar and everything else, and thought, this time next year I'm going to go on holiday and I'm going to be in a bikini. I've never wore a bikini in my life. So I thought, that's my one thing to myself. I'm going to come back off this holiday now and I'm going to change my life. So lo and behold, I come back and that's when it all started for me.
From having those thoughts on holiday, how long did it take you to decide which slimming club that you was going to go to? Because there's so many things, so many diet plans, so many clubs, so many, you know, forums that you can be part of. What made you decide to walk through those Slimming World doors?
I come back from Salou and my partner's little boy, Theo, with my stepson. I brought him up for last 5 years. We had a little tea party for him and it was his birthday. And my partner's sister, Amy, was in the kitchen and she's lost loads of weight as well. So I said to her, I just said, look, I'm fed up now. Why can't, you know, you look fantastic. Why I want to do that? And she said to me, there's no point sitting there whinging, Shannon. Do something about it. You can't keep whinging about it if you're not going to do naught about it. So she said to me, come to Slimming World with me the morning after. Oh, yeah, I will. She went home and I texted with an excuse. Oh, no, not tomorrow. But the week later, I thought, no, I am going to do something for myself here. So lo and behold, I went to the group with her. She picked me up and I went with her. Wow. I remember walking in, I felt dead embarrassed. Then I sat down and I thought, you know, these people are just like me. You know, they want to change their lives as well. I'm not embarrassed. It's going to change my life, this. I think I remember sitting down and I thought, can I really be bothered? But then I thought to myself, there's only me who can do this. Let's make a vow now, Shannon. You're going to do this for yourself. You're going to change your whole life. And I give myself a year. Within the year, I got to my first target. Exactly a year today, I got to target 4 stone 3 pounds. Wow. That's what I set my target to. And I got down to it for exactly a year later, which we're dead chuffed about. And on the same day, I was in the paper as well. I was like, well, oh my God, my life's changed. Oh, I'm confident.
Having reached target and lost all this weight, I know that you got down to, was it a size 12 that you got down to?
On my first target year, so I went for like a size 26, that dress for the black dress. My uniform was a size 26 as well at work. So I got down to a size 12 initially to the first target and I wore the bikini on holiday. So a couple of days later, I flew out to Salou again. You'll see the pictures on my Instagram if you want to have a look. I wore a bikini and do you know what it is? I felt absolutely fantastic because I think I finally realised something kind of dropped. You know, I'm never going to be that stick thin. I'm never going to be that perfect girl. I'm going to have cellulite. I'm going to have wobbly bits. But yeah, so does everybody else. Nobody's perfect, really, are they? You've got like to define your own perfect. I think that's what I'm coming to realise now. That you've just got to be yourself. I've worked so hard. Why shouldn't I not flaunt it? But why shouldn't I wear that bikini and feel proud? Exactly. So I wore the bikini as well. So that was a massive thing for me. Felt fantastic in Salou. And then I think I got back and I thought, you know, I want to set my target a bit higher because I think you get a bit, I can't think of that word. I think you get a bit, you know, cocksure of yourself, don't you? And I think I want to get to 5 stone now. So I think I had like half a stone to get to it. So I didn't really rush myself. I wanted to do it for my 27th birthday, which was in March, just gone. And lo and behold, 2 weeks before I got to the 5 stone target. Wow. So I got to that target before my birthday. So it just goes to show, put your mind to it and you can actually do it. stick to it and you can do it. A lot of people say, well, does Slimming World work? And it actually does. It can change your life. If you just stick to it and make them little changes, it's going to change your life.
Definitely. So having returned back from Salou for the second time after that holiday, and looking at those photographs of you in your bikini, how, you just want to try and explain how this felt?
Fantastic. I remember when we were in Salou, my sister took me down to some rocks where there were loads of people sunbathing, and she goes, Shannon, stand there in your bikini and put your hair down. You know, she started doing a photo shoot on this beach, and I thought the old Shannon had been like, no, Kelsey, put that camera away. But, you know, it's all flicking me, and I felt absolutely fabulous in that bikini. And I think there's a picture on Instagram, like I said, and I just think that's just like the pinpoint for me. That's when I knew I was glowing. I just thought, that's not the Shannon that I once was. I've actually changed my life, and this is me now, confident.
Wow. It's such a, you know, it's such a Cinderella story, and the confidence that you've gained through losing this weight. And like you said, you use anybody to define perfect. You've defined your own perfect, and it's that acceptance as well, isn't it? You know, getting rid of the shame and just accepting all your bits, your wobbly bits.
I've got stretch marks, I've got bumps, but you know, that's just who I am. Why should I change any more than what I have done already? I need to be happy with myself, and that's going to come from the inside, not other people. Fair enough, people compliment all the time, but I think you've just got to be confident with yourself and define your own kind of perfect. Absolutely.
And do you feel that you're in the best place of your journey now? Do you feel that, like you say, something's clicked and the weight's not going to go back on, or do you still feel that sometimes it's a struggle?
I think at this moment in time, it is a struggle, because I think with obviously doing the 12-hour shift and everything what's going on at the moment, I think it's just kind of on the 12-hour shifts, it's finding time to eat the proper meals. But initially, I've lost another 3 pounds since target, so I'm 3 pound under target now, which is another Brucey bonus. So I'm still maintaining and still losing, not putting on. So it's still there. And I've never been this small in my life. I think I put that on my Instagram the other day. Well, not in my life. Maybe when I was a baby.
So what dress size are you now, Shannon?
A size 10. I've worn stuff in my life that I'd never thought possible. I'm thinking, yeah, I've got a thong.
Wow.
And it doesn't disappear. Can I say that?
You can. You said it. You said it.
Now, like little pinafore dresses, even like little skirts. I remember I stopped going on nights out because I just didn't feel confident. But I think it was December last year. My friend Sarah said to me, "Come on, Shannon, grow some balls and come on, let's go on a night out." So I remember thinking, what can I wear? So I think, what can I wear? So I went in Primark and I thought, hey, let's see what I can find. But I got this little leather skirt and like this see-through, not a see-through top, you know, you wear a bra with it and it looks see-through. And I remember going out that night, doing all my makeup like I'd never done before. And you know, I felt fantastic. And I thought, wow, where's this Shannon come from? And I got paid so many compliments. And I just thought, bloody hell, this Shannon would never wear anything like this. That's a non-scale victory there for you. And I went out as well and actually enjoyed it. And I didn't get a McDonald's after. I think I got a doner kebab, in fact, but, you know, I didn't eat it all.
That's it then, everything in measure. So you've come full circle, haven't you, where you said about, you never felt you fit in and you're able to go out and have nights out, you've been able to wear the bikini and feel totally different. Do you think you can offer a piece of advice to anybody listening to this that is going through those same feelings, regardless of whatever weight they are at the moment, but just feeling that they don't feel like they fit in, the confidence is low, the weight's just been nagging at them? Do you feel that you can offer a piece of advice to help them to get started, I guess?
Yeah, I think my biggest bit of advice would be do it for yourself. Like I says, give yourself a year, see what you can do in that year. I mean, if you're not going to stick to it, it's only yourself you're going to disappoint. Make small goals and stick to them small goals. So just do it for yourself. Change your own life. Give yourself a year and see where you can be in a year. Because look, I give myself a year and look where I am now. Completely different person. Completely different mindset. I mean, I was just saying to somebody the other day, the same, well, how do you stick to it if you've had a pizza? Well, yeah, have that pizza, but the day after I'm straight back on it. It's all about compromise. I can still have that pizza, but I know the day after I've got to get straight back on the Slimming World plan. And it does work. Just reassure yourself it's going to work. fair enough, you're going to have a few gains along the way or maintain, but you're still better than where you are. You're still losing that weight and changing your life. Be true to yourself.
And I think from what you said about being at school and feeling an outsider, you've now got quite a big presence on social media, on Instagram. And like you've mentioned that people are trying to follow you and then you're not following them back. And it's kind of like the reverse role, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've had messages off of these girls. You know, these girls who used to call you fat at school and ugly. And I don't mean to sound awful, but they're where I was back then. Oh, have you done it, Shannon? Have you lost that weight? But I think to myself, you know, I don't mind helping, but after all what you've put me through. But they probably don't think of that, do they? They probably don't realise how they made me feel. No. So it's kind of having the upper hand now. Like, they're all liking my picture saying, you look absolutely stunning. Look, wow, look how far you've come. Yeah. But, and it's like, when people call me an inspiration, I really don't feel like an inspiration. I just think I'm just a little Shazza P from Halifax. No, I find it hard to grasp, really. I don't feel, I mean, look at me now, no makeup on, no eyebrows on, finished a 12-hour shift. But I don't feel like an inspiration. I just feel like myself. I
can guarantee that you are an inspiration. And I'd just like to thank you for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. And I know that for anybody that can come onto my podcast and talk so openly and honestly about their slimming journey, it's going to hit home to somebody. There could be, if it just hits home to one person listening to this, it's
that's what I say all the time. If my bit of like my journey, because I'm sure a lot of people go through the same kind of thing, if my journey and knowing that you can come out at the end of it, I mean, you still have confidence issues now, but you build on them, don't you?
Yes.
You just got all through life, it's a learning curve, it's a journey. As long as you come out on top and better than where you are, it's absolutely, you're doing a cracking job.
Absolutely.
You're doing a cracking job.
And I want to see you as a speaker. I want to see you as a motivational speaker.
Oh my God, with my accent.
I think you're fantastic. Yes, with your accent. Yes, with your accent. Absolutely. That's a golden nugget, definitely.
I'm just glad that I swear. I'm just glad that I didn't swear like I did on radio. I was on BBC Radio Leeds and I swore on radio. So I'm glad I didn't swear tonight.
Oh goodness. So if anybody is listening would like to follow you on Instagram, what's your Instagram handle, Shannon?
Everyone says it dead wrong. It's at the little life of Shazza P, not Shazap, Shazza P. Shazza P. And I tell you where Shazza P comes from. When my little stepson Theo were 3, he couldn't call me Shannon, so I used to say Shazza P. So now Shazza P's kind of just stuck. So it's like, in fact, I'm going to tell you this story because it's like a pinnacle of my journey. The other week I was studying Iceland in Halifax. And this lady's looking at me and she's thinking, oh my God. She comes up to me, she's like, oh my God. I said, all right, love, are you okay? She's like, oh my God, it's Shazza P. I said, it's not, is it? I said, it's not. I said, I'm called Shannon. She goes, oh, it's Shazza P. Can I have a selfie? And I'm thinking, I'm stood here looking like a scruff. You know, Halifax Town Centre at 9 o'clock in bloody Iceland. And she wants a selfie with me. Not got my eyebrows on. I think to myself, like I said, I don't feel myself as an inspiration, but like people are recognising me. But I just think, wow, a bit mental there.
Yeah, but and, you know, you are an inspiration. You're lovely. You're down to earth. You know, you're so genuine, and all I can do is just wish you well, because I think
thank you.
You've had an amazing journey, and you know you've met this guy, and it sounds all quite nice, and you've got that balance now, haven't you? So
I'm just waiting for a ring now. I'm just waiting for a ring.
Yeah.
Come on, Richard.
I'll have a word with Richard. So thank you for your time anyway, Shannon. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
I hate bullying. I hate to hear of anybody feeling really low because they've been bullied. I did receive a little bit of bullying at school, not a lot, but a little bit. My friend, one of my best friends, she did receive quite a lot of bullying. And it's awful to see somebody, you know, you care about going through that, and it's just really, really horrible. And I'm so glad that Shannon has been able to challenge the character that she was given throughout primary and secondary school, and that she's been able to turn her life around, and her health is so much better for it, and that she's found somebody that she can relax with, who accepts her, and she now feels beautiful. And if you do follow her on Instagram, you'll see that often she will pose with or without makeup, and you know, she looks like a lady that's really body confident, irrespective of whether she's got makeup on or makeup off, and she's just accepted the fact that she's a beautiful young woman. And it's goes through me the fact that she had to go through that bullying. And I kind of think that, listening back to this and knowing that people follow at school, don't they? They kind of follow the crowd. And I'm sure whoever was involved in the bullying had no idea of the impact that this was having on Shannon at that time. And if they are listening, maybe just get in touch, send a DM on Instagram and just say, I had no idea that this affected you that way. Wouldn't that be lovely to think that she could receive that and maybe put a little bit of closure behind this? But to me, she's moved on with her life and she's making the most of it, and she's definitely in touch with her body confidence now. Absolutely. If this episode has inspired you, and if this isn't the first time that you've listened, or the second or the third, please hit subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, Podbean. Just to hit subscribe. It's literally just a press of a button, and that will help me climb the podcast charts. That's all I'm asking. That's the only ask. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep putting the podcasts out there, and that would help me tremendously. So thanks for tuning in again. I hope all is well, and do DM me if you feel that this episode has been relatable for you. I would love to hear any feedback about any of the podcast episodes that I've done so far. It would mean a lot, and I can pass that on to the guests that I've interviewed. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, you take care.